I'm super excited to do our home tour video today with our Janelle Holder from Elle-amie Inc., our brand strategist, our creative director, and if I name all of her titles, we can be here all day. But thank you for coming on our channel today, Janelle. We're super excited to discuss everything Project Casa, the differences between our project Embro, how we designed the two same layout home and directing it a different path in terms of the design decisions, the finishes, the use of materials, everything. So we're gonna talk all about that today.
I am so happy to be here with you today, Ching. Being Tan Interior's brand strategist and understanding the brand's vision, purpose, and mission, one of the things that I do very often, being behind the camera most of the time, is comparing what we have in your brand strategy to the authenticity behind the design. And so knowing that you design lifetime homes,
We do.
being in a custom spec home, I really do commend you and Eric for the level of work, craftsmanship that you put into the design. And it actually does, in fact, line up with your brand strategy. And so I truly, truly commend the both of you for that. In terms of this being a custom spec home and doing the differentiation between Casa and Embro, being that it has the exact same layout, you guys did a spectacular job. And so I really want to get into the meat of the matter, the mind behind the design, why you designed it the way you did. You guys don't just design a home to sell, you design a home that you would buy, that I would buy when I win the lottery one day. Bow you. Wedding. But what is the mind behind the design, Jing? Take us through this home tour and let us in on what you were thinking. What type of inspiration were you, what did you draw inspiration from for this design?
Oh my goodness, Janelle. It's been a process. We started when we're starting each and every design process for each and every one of our projects. We look at the why this home must look this way, and especially when we look at the two layouts being identical. And we knew that we never ever want to design a space to look alike, especially with the same layout. So designing something so different every single space, really important to us. And we look at all the factors, like the use of materiality, the color palette, the layout of the kitchen, how we want the flanking counter cabinets flanking the stove. And whereas the other one had the focal point of a hood being the focal point, right? And just everything about it. So in this home, Project Casa, what we decided to go with in terms of the design aesthetic is, to create timeless classic spaces with that timeless European modern acid twist.
And what was the design aesthetic for Project Embro? What was the difference?
So for Project Embro, we went with that European elegance design aesthetic as the twist. We love the European design. And so if you looked at our home tour video for Project Embro, our Tuscan-inspired kitchen. Remember that video that we did?
Loved it.
Love that kitchen. And for us, being inspired by the different aesthetic, different design elements through time and history, because when we design lifetime homes, we need to think of or back to the history of what design is all about. And the design for each and every home is unique. And so this home makes it feel different compared to Embro. And for us, it's just to bring in this unique element throughout choosing the color for the cabinet, it being a little bit more taupey white versus that creamy white from Embro, right? And choosing the lighting fixtures being a bit more modern compared to Embro. So all these elements really show once the house is ready.
So if anyone has the opportunity to visit each one of these properties, from the outside, it might look the same in terms of color,
Layout,
exterior. Take us through the design. Let's start from the outside. What did you guys do? And I know that this is a project, sister and brother duo. What were the tug of war?
Oh my goodness.
Conversations with the design. So take us through from the outside.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So let me just start off with the working relationship. As you know, Eric is my brother and we've been doing this for a while. And there's always arguments, I would say, not friction. I would say arguments to decide on the final decision. But of course, I get the final say when it comes to the design, just so everybody knows and hears it from me. He might say it's different, but yeah, it's challenging when we work, but it's also it's the blessing in disguise, you know, like to be working with family, to be working with him, and who is so in tuned in the details of what he does, and he believes in everything that he does. So it's easy. The front of the home is essentially identical. You see the stucco, and you see the brick and the stone. It's pretty much the same as Project Embro. However, we changed up the color of the stone and the brick just a little bit, and then the lighting fixtures. So we went a little bit more modern on the fixtures because our design aesthetic is timeless European modern twist.
So in the front foyer, I love what you did with the foyer cabinet. It's very different. I've never seen you do or implemented a design like that before. Could you explain to us what we are looking at?
Okay, so it's also one of my favorites and Eric's. We wanted to add different features. So I love antique mirrors. I think antique mirrors give such a beautiful, unique, vintage, elegant to the space. And when selecting all these materials, when we look at the floor tiles, it has this like organic feel, matte porcelain tiles. It has all this unique color. And I look at that.
Very buttery. It looks buttery. Yes.
Right? And I'll tell you why we did what we did for the walls. But so the antique mirror really works well with the floor tiles that we selected.
Right.
And then the millwork itself, we decided to go with ashwood from Benjamin Moore. It's not a white color. It's like a creamy, grayish white.
Yeah.
We don't really do gray. I know I'm sitting on this like nice creamy gray chair, but we don't really do gray. So we add like the different details and textures, like the rated door profile, and then we would bring that down with a different profile door.
Yeah.
To just break it up. And that antique mirror just It's just like when you walk into like a high-end store.
Yes.
Let's say a Louis Vuitton, and you see like this mirror or glass, just something so unique. It just adds that subtle luxury without being super loud. And
I love the fact that the ceiling, it's
15 foot.
15 foot. So your eyes naturally land at the top and draws down.
Exactly.
So I love that. I love the contrast between the floor and the
antique mirror.
the antique mirror. Now, the wall paneling. I recognize that there are some differences in this project, which I absolutely love.
The wall paneling, every space that we design, we want to, this is something that we do. We don't just go and get like a wall paneling that is already made. We have done that, and we wanted for these custom spec homes to feel special. And so, for example, for the kitchen millwork door profile, we tend to bring that into our wall paneling design. So we would say, you know what, let's make this door profile. Like, so for example, I'm gonna just call out a door profile, LaSalle, that we use for the foyer closet. That door profile, if we really want to, we could use that profile as our wall paneling design. But in this case, we use the kitchen door profile as our panel detail. We are evolving as we go with our design, and we want to really push the envelope and see what we could do. The wall color, which is simply white, is our go-to color. I could get into this all day long. The temperature of your light, like in your house, will also affect the color of your paint, how it comes out, right? Aside from it being either pearl, eggshell, matte, or semi-gloss. So in this case, we used pearl finish for the walls and the wall paneling, and the ceilings being matte, just to add depth in the home.
So what made you decide to go with the Arcadia white as opposed to what you usually go with?
You know, trying something new. And we used to, when we look at a white color with deeper undertone, we could reduce the saturation of the color. And we tried that for one of our colors that we also love, which is Swiss coffee.
Yes.
Swiss coffee, my favorite as well. We would reduce it to 70%.
Okay.
So 30% lighter, right? And it worked. And so we're like, okay, let's try Arcadia white. It has this creamier, buttery undertone, so let's try to see if it works.
Right.
And we tried it with our sample color, and oh my goodness, it was so yellow. I spoke with Eric, and I met him at the job site, and I'm like, you know what? We have like a few minutes to decide because the painters have already started. We need to change this now. So that's why not,
Yes.
choose my trusty color, simply white.
Yes. Because this is a different storyline to explaining the differences between Embro and Casa, I love the fact that Cheng decided not to put any furniture. I remember she called me and she said, Janelle, we decided not to furnish the space because we are doing a design decision forward video so that we could really allow the space to speak for itself, and so that nothing is distracting the, even us being able to take the videos, so that we could really highlight what you did differently in the space. So that was very different. I loved it. And so with that being said, you can see that absolutely scrumptious, dark, moody fireplace.
Yep.
Love it.
Thank you.
Wouldn't you was Eric, first of all, was he a little bit nervous about going in that direction?
So he was nervous with going a little bit darker because he's not a person who likes darker color. I know, surprising. He loves walnut, but not in terms of like dark color, especially anything green. In the living room, we went with a bold fireplace. It's called Violet Diamond Porcelain. We wanted something bold for every one of our fireplaces. Like, this is just a thing that we do, especially when we're using it, when we're pairing it with an electric fireplace. And specifically in the living room, there's no flanking millwork. So, and it's next to the foyer. So when you're in the foyer, you see, when you come in, you see the creamy brown buttery floor, and then you see the antique mirror. And then when you look towards the living room over the clear glass, you get to see that focal point. And so I was deciding to, why not have a bold sconces to go with it and playing with the different shapes, right? So instead of going with something more squared, more, I don't know, rectangular, we ended up going with rounded ball for the sconces. It just gives you that changes of materials and make it very interesting.
Yeah.
Selecting these lighting fixtures is super important and is critical to the finishes of our project, of any project that we work on. So because the lighting fixtures are essentially acting as jewelry to your home, like us necklaces, earrings, rings, and bracelets, these are jewelry to our outfit. So selecting the perfect, not the perfect light for anybody, but it's the perfect light fixture for the space, for the room.
Yeah.
And these pieces have to speak together. Just imagine the earrings are not having conversation with your
Rest of the
bracelet or your rings. There's a clash, So same thing when choosing these light fixtures. I am obsessed with choosing the perfect one. So upon selecting the foyer light, which is multicolor, girl, when you look at that and the antique mirror and the floor and the foyer and then the living room fireplace, it's just like, what is that?
It's like a choir.
It is, essentially, yeah. And that's what we want to create. Like, when you come in, you just want to feel a lot. At the same time, you feel this subtle luxury. At the same time, you feel like you're in home, but you're in a place where you feel so grand and so polished and so refined and so great.
You would honestly want to dress up every single day. My pajamas would need to be luxe.
Yes.
Yes. The pendant in the butler pantry, definitely a statement.
Yes.
I love it so much. It reminds me of like the beach, Barbados. The seashells on the shoreline. Are you seeing it for me? When do we go on vacation again? But tell me more.
We almost didn't get that light because of Eric.
Budget.
But then he
Budged.
Yeah, and he made it happen for me. I'm like, the next time when I come to the job site, please, I need to see a pendant. I wanted something different, very different from the previous house. I don't want the brass gold as my light fixture. I don't want black as my light fixture. I wanted like a white or that, how do you call that material? Why is it leaving my head? Plaster. When I went to Prima Lighting, the owner, amazing, love him, love Sam. But the actual light fixture itself, the details, when I look at that light, I had to get it. I have used the brass one before, but this one is it gives me, I don't know, it's just a different feeling when I look at it. It's very unique. And having unique lighting pieces is very important in our design.
Yeah, and I love the way that it complements the changes that you did with the counter cabinet.
Yeah. It's really complement the stone that we chose as well.
What's the name of?
Kawakata G Oral.
Right.
I just thought it'd be a perfect pairing, you know? Just pulling materials and colors off of the actual material that you already have and create a complement and a bit of a contrast.
And I remember when we were doing we were speaking about the fixtures. I believe the faucet in the butler's pantry, is this a...
Oh, for this one?
Yes.
So, I know, I love...
Paying attention.
Okay, so it's from Kohler. It's the name of it is Adeline. They collaborated with Studio McGee. Love her company. I just think that these two faucets. So we got one baby faucet for the butler's pantry sink, and then we got the bigger one for our main kitchen sink. It just works beautifully because of the details in the like the spout. It has that ring detail which complements the detail on the millwork. And then, you know, funny enough, when I was selecting the faucet, I tend to select my lighting fixtures kind of last. So now looking at the two together in front of me, I just feel like it's a coincidence that I'm choosing like this detailing on the pendant in the kitchen. You know, when you do this for a long time, you just like, your brain it's there.
Absolutely.
And you just understand it without even like looking at it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the gallery. Completely different.
Completely different. Completely different in the, again, the materials that we use, the colors, the details of the door profile. So the gallery is an extension of the office and the powder room. So you see the white on the one side of the light and then the gold on the other side. And it's open and airy. The light is just beautiful and it's grand, but it's not taking away the millwork. It's not taking away from everything else, right? It's just introducing you to the powder room and the office, and that's the intention.
The powder room is Vava room. We need to go right into the powder room. Yes.
Like I can't be in there and not just look and be like, wow. And not because that's what we design. It's just like, I feel so calm.
I know, for being bold, you feel calm.
Exactly.
And I love how you pull that off. The color being pulled from the ceiling to the wall. What was the inspiration behind that design?
As you know, that I love boutique hotels, bathrooms, and just bathrooms in general. I don't know why, but I just had this obsession. Love, love, love. So because we did a lighter color palette at Embro, I wanted to bring this moody opposite of Embro. And so I said, why not? Because we're dredging colors in a lot of our spaces at Project Casa, I said, let's drench it. Let's overdo it. Because sometimes we can go less is more, but in the powder room, you can never go more is more. Like it can never be too much. So that's why we did the most. We drenched the color. We did Night Owl from Benjamin Moore for the vanity. And we used the same quartzite from the kitchen in the powder room. We did the 6-inch apron style. When you go towards the gallery, you know where the powder room is. And you know it's like she's there. You see her from afar. She's making a statement.
I love the way you describe it. It's so cool.
I am so passionate. I can't.
I love it. Office. I know Eric really wanted those LED strip lights, but I love the placement of it this time. It's on the side as opposed to it being on the top. Yes.
Yeah.
The design in the office, it feels like it's way bigger in this project as opposed to Embro.
I'm so glad you You notice these things. I love it. It feels a little bit bigger and it feels a little bit wider, but the depth is still the same. Now, the space itself, because the layout of the home itself is wider, so we get a little bit of space width-wise, but not depth. Depth we lose a little bit compared to Embro. So yes, that's why you see a little bit wider when you walk into the office, but we also played with color. So we use the same color that we use for our millwork, Ashwood, by Benjamin Moore, for our millwork cabinetry. And then we also painted the walls, the casing, the trim, and the interior door, Ashwood, because we want when you walk in there, you just feel like it's just one. And we use glass for the door to help open up the space even more. And with the LED integration.
That's in a lot of light, especially for an office space.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
An office space, I don't know, in a home, I love that. I love how it gives such a subtle luxury to the home office and ample storage.
Those pendants in the kitchen. In Project Embro, the pendant light were square. And if you have not seen that video yet, head on over to our channel, Elle-amie, to view the Tuscan-inspired kitchen.
Yes, that was a lot of fun.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The color. Could we talk about, it's subtle, but it's still such a statement.
Yeah, when we picked out that light, I knew when I saw it as a single light, I was like, it's okay, until I saw what came with the collection. So, behind us, in the great room, it's the same collection as the kitchen pendant.
Oh.
And when I saw that, I said, it's a perfect pair. It has this cloud-like, frosty, snowy, like, texture within the glass. And I looked at our stone and I said, it picks up off of the stone itself. And you know me, I like to bring materials from other materials within a space. It's just create that consistency and connects the space with one another. And using the different shape, like it being round, it being oval, it just create interest, and we're playing with the different shapes. The color palette for the kitchen, we creatively think of the island being different. And because our stone is super bold and beautiful, and it has this green accent.
I love the green.
Innovative. I know. I'm obsessed too. So I was thinking, why not have a green island? And we did a waterfall island, which I will never not go with a waterfall island because it is adorable. You know, when you have a family, and I design differently, right? Like, depending on the aesthetic, some clients would want millwork throughout and just the stone countertop. So then we have the the profile of our kitchen on the side of our island. But in this case, we are doing waterfall. We have been doing waterfall in a lot of our custom spec homes because we think of durability for long term. With children, wear and tear, you won't have to worry too much about the wear and tear. You still gotta be careful when knocking it with heavy metal. And having we want a lot of storage for our clients. So we really put a lot of thoughts into how the kitchen, how people can function in a kitchen. Not everyone everyone functions differently. Everyone uses the kitchen differently, but our ideal client loves to host, loves to have dinner with their families and host their friends and family in the space. So we make it very efficient.
I love that you select appliances that work well with the design, the aesthetic of the home.
Yeah, choosing appliances, like, you know, we want appliances to fit the space itself. We love to work with brands like Fisher Paykel, Janelle, Sub-Zero. We just look at the appliances and look at how it just integrate seamlessly with our, for example, we have the panel-ready Sub-Zero fridge and freezer in a lot of our custom spec homes, and we use Fisher Paykel microwave oven in this home, and it just seamlessly integrated into the design, and Eric loves it. Eric loves the clean line, the modern appliances. Even though I'm not the best person when it comes to technology, I'm learning how to use a microwave with all this touch screen, and I'm like finding out a hard time. But just the aesthetic of just the looking at it, it's just beautiful. And yeah, we love those brands. When designing our kitchen, creating the connection between the great room, the breakfast nook, to the kitchen is really key, because we're in the same space with 3 different functioning elements, right? So in the kitchen, we have this tavern charcoal color for our millwork on the island. And of course, we brought that over to the great room millwork flanking the fireplace. It's just perfect. And with that, we decided to go with like a lighter porcelain that is not competing with the kitchen stone. So, but it still has this like the veining of the stone with like the cream white as a base. It has a green. If you really look close to the porcelain behind us, you can see that green comes through. And that is also another reason why we did what we did, and just have like that peekaboo of a bit of open shelf and the glass door and ample storage, because we're always thinking about families. We're always thinking about growing family, and as a designer, we think about how the space functions so well with people living in it, not just designed for aesthetic purposes. So for us to have the lower cabinets and the drawers and the shelves to display them anything that they have for their families as memories, is just perfect.
In essence, you're not just thinking about the current client. You're thinking about if they were to pass on this property to their child, grandchild, would they really feel a huge need to redesign the space? And even if they needed to redesign the space, they're going to come back to the originator of the space, because the originator would know how to make different tweaks that doesn't have to really change the structure that much.
Exactly.
But can, make some changes in terms of that era and what's, trending, and based off of their tastes and, their likes.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. And before you, girl, 10 Interiors was missing something. And when we decided to work with Janelle, there's this clear perspective of who 10 Interiors is and who we want to serve as our ideal client. And going through that whole process, it really makes me realize that interior design, for me, in my opinion, is not just creating a space that looks beautiful, but creating a home for people to really enjoy and to live in and grow their family and for generation to come. And as Janelle was saying, that it's not just the aesthetic that you can change. Based on your preference, you can change the color through the space, you can repaint your walls, you can choose different fixtures or adding different furniture. However, with the core pieces to the home itself, the structural, the layout of how we decided what the space planning or the space should be planned out to look like, the flow from one space to the next is really important. And even lighting fixtures, like you can interchange the lighting fixtures, but looking at the lighting fixture for myself, if I were to live in this property, for example, I would not change the light fixtures because we don't do trend. And I've said this so many times before, people think I'm crazy. They said, why don't you follow trend or what this is popular? I'm like, I don't do popularity. I think that timeless classic homes will last and you can change what you want to change based on what you love. And it's all about you because you live in there. Yeah. It's not me, it's not Janelle, it's not the magazines, it's you.
Absolutely. The designs are very intricate. When you pay close attention and you're here in person and you walk through the space and you are observing, it's very intricate detail. However, it's done with this elegance and sophistication and grace that you're able to appreciate the simplicity of something so intricate. Does that make sense?
When we design, as my brand strategist, we design lifetime homes for our clients. So pairing these simple elements with the intricacy of each and every details, millwork, color, store. These seem simple, but when you put them all together, there is this balance, this dance that when you're looking at the kitchen, you see the flow from one corner to the next.
Yeah.
And simple it's not always as simple as we see it. It's just how you put it all together.
Yeah.
In the kitchen and in a lot of spaces in our custom spec homes, we do a lot of custom millwork because having ample storage is key, especially in a kitchen. We want to have a lot because we just never know. When you live here for a long time, you tend to have a lot and you need a lot of space to store a lot of things. And for us to give our client that, and they are happy and they thank us for overthinking.
I love that.
And I'm crazy, so I tend to always over-communicate and overthink a lot of things. And so having ample storage, the right compartment for a garbage pullout, to have the right compartment where they store certain things, and really smart with the integration of like the utility or the utensil, like pullout next to your stove. Perfect. Chef's kiss, as you would say it.
Absolutely.
And the spice pole, girl, it's something that, people can do a drawer, people can do whatnot, but for us, we design how we design. We alter as we need to alter based on the client, but we do not alter because of trend.
And that's what we called designing your space
For life.
for life.
That's right. So this brings us to the end of our part 1 of our home tour with Janelle Holder. Stay tuned for part 2, and we'll be talking about all things second floor and the lower suite. So stay tuned.